Alrighty guys, we're back for Big Red, and this is an Edge of Eternities standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We got 3 Tannuk Steadfast second, very much the build around here. 4 mana, 3/5 legendary creature. Other creatures you control have haste. Artifact cards and red creature cards in your hand have warp for just 2 and a red. Okay, so what are we trying to cheat onto the battlefield for just 3 mana? We got a couple Clive, Ifrit's dominant here on the top end. Not going to take the time to read all that. We do have an Etali Primal Storm. Etali, what are you still doing in Standard? Different Etali, unfortunately. We have 4 Overlord of the Boilerbilges. Of course, it has the ETB and when it attacks as well, so giving haste to the Overlord is crazy business. Then we also have a couple Trumpeting Carnosaurs too. We could do some rearranging for that bottom ability on Trumpeting Carnosaur, acting as a potential early removal sometimes. Okay, not the only way to give haste. We actually have 3 Enduring Courage as well. So 3 Tannuks, 3 Enduring Courage, all ways to give haste to that incredibly chunky top end. Now we're also going to be ramping into the top end too, so we're not completely relying on Tannuk. Outside of the 25 mana, which should be more than enough, we have ways to generate treasure tokens off Seize the Spoils. We also have all 4 Charming Scoundrel in here too. All these ETB effects actually works really well with the Ghost Vacuum. If we're actually not just cleaning up the opponent's graveyard if they're Reanimator or something, we're more than happy to clean up our top end with the Ghost Vacuum, eventually use that bottom ability, slam a whole bunch of powerful ETBs onto the board all at once. Honestly, just talking about it makes me want 3 Ghost Vacuum in here instead of just the 2, but since we have ways to trade out with Seize the Spoils and Scoundrel, we should be able to find it. Or even trading out with the Clive too, right? So early spot removal is pretty important. I would say we have all 4 Torch the Tower, and we have all 4 Plasma Bolts too. It's not going to be terribly difficult to actually have the Void on this deal 3 damage to any target. We also have a couple of Abrades. Destroying artifacts has been pretty important. We're seeing a lot of synthesizer builds. I do think the Abrade's going to go a very long way. Some board wipes packed in too with a couple Slagstorms. Okay, honorable mentions. I considered Fire Magic. Seriously, keep your eye on it. The instant speed absolutely obliterates certain deck lists. Thought about leaning even further into like the whole discard theme, graveyard thing going on with the vacuum and whatnot too. I thought about Light Shatter, not this time around. And I thought about some artifacts like Thunder Hulk is of course going to be really cool with Tannuk, and Meteor Golem could have been cool too, but I didn't want to go the artifact route this time pretty much at all. Outside of the Ghost Vacuum artifacts, right? You guys know what I mean, though. I thought about Quarry Mountain Monastery for more utility land in the mana base, which I didn't go over the utility land yet. Got a couple Fountainports, ought to do the thing nicely, and some tapped lands with Lindblum. We got the new Memorial World, and we also have a Hidden Volcano here, too. I don't think that the tapped lands is going to hold up this specific deck list too often, so it's just nice to have that extra little bit of utility packed in. Okay guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? I really want it to be good, guys. I really want it to be good, so I'm hoping for something here. Double Ghost Vacuum, we could send one to the Scoundrel, but honestly, we probably just end up dropping a treasure token with the Scoundrel. The opponent goes first. We could mulligan, honestly. Nah, we ought to keep it. Yeah, I think we'll draw fine. I don't know exactly what I'd be looking for off of a mulligan, you know what I mean? We have early game stuff. Oh, wow, Ghost Vacuum's going to be excellent versus Delirium. It's like the game knew that we were going to need to clean up the opponent's grave, huh? Ghost Vacuum's brutal. All right, Sorcery in the grave. We'll wait a little bit for the Vacuum. Ooh, another Breakout. Let's see what they hit here. See if they hit one of their Wildfires. Oh, Fear of Missing Out is really good. Nice. Gets haste. See what their discard is. Yeah, the more creatures we can hit with the Vacuum, the better. When it actually comes time to pop. Keen-Eyed Curator. Nice. Okay. Swing for 2. 2 gets through. Ghost Vacuum. Pick up the raccoon. Yeah, the double Ghost Vacuum. I mean, that's just gotta be... That's just so brutal, man. Holy cow. I'll keep Torch the Tower open for the turn instead of getting the tap land down with the other Ghost Vacuum as well. Because the Wildfire is a 3-2, right? So we should be able to clean that up nicely with the Torch the Tower. I mean, honestly, with this hand, we couldn't have asked for a better matchup, guys, for real. We still might be in a little bit of danger if we, depending on what they establish. A Light Shatterer. Or, yeah, Light Shatter. There we go. They pay the Stomping Ground. Screaming Nemesis. Oh, crap. With this hand, what do we do about a Nemesis? We could Torch the Tower, pop one of the Ghost Vacuums. We don't necessarily need both on the board. Take 3 from the Nemesis just the one time, though. If they have another Nemesis, we're in a lot of danger. Also, this gets rid of life gain. We don't have any life gain. What am I saying? So what we'll do is we'll tap the Ghost Vacuum we're going to sacrifice to hit one of the breakouts, right? Keep their graveyard even further. And we bargain, hit the Nemesis, which feels terrible, but what else are we going to do against Nemesis? You know? Mana off the top we can send because we have 5 total mana here. Even though some of them's tapped. 3 to our face. Yeah. A second Nemesis, and I think all of a sudden it's leaning towards the opponent. So we'll see what they end up having. They're tapped out. I'm going to use the Ghost Vacuum now to pick up that Light Shatter. More mana off the top, guys. Only 25 in here. I mean, 25 mana is a lot, but seeing 6, 7 we sent in the top 10 cards is kind of a flood, even with 25, right? So we can get the Memorial World down, or we can keep the Lindblum open, but pretty sure it's going to be... I guess we'll start by trading. Scoundrel. Discard one of the mountains, because we definitely need to see something better. Torch the Tower is good. See, we could keep that open again with the mountain. Probably worthwhile. And keep Scoundrel. Or swing. Probably swing. I think every point of damage matters until we get to that top end. And let's keep the Torch the Tower open again. Yeah. Worst case scenario on a second Nemesis is we pop this other Ghost Vacuum, but that could be pretty dangerous. Okay. At least Breakout doesn't hit the Nemesis, right? They find another Fear of Missing Out, which is really good news for them. See what they send here. They got Sorcery Creature so far in the grave. It's going to be their instant now in the grave too. More mana and... like they might go for that swing. Yeah, we don't want to hit the Fear of Missing Out with the Torch the Tower by any means. That was a pretty good hit for them. Yeah, we'll definitely pick up... okay, down to 9. We'll definitely pick up the Scout. Depending on what their last play here is. Another Patchwork Beastie could definitely keep them ahead of the curve on this Ghost Vacuum. Still. Alright, let's clean up the creature. Yeah, 2 cards in hand, 1 mana open. I'm trying to riddle out exactly what that could be, but I'm not sure. Seize the Spoils is really good, actually, guys. I might ditch the Memorial World. Yeah, because we're going to have to keep a chump blocker back. We get ramp here. We could find an open mana. Maybe another Scoundrel. kind of feels like mostly we're playing around our own deck list here, huh? Just with how much mana was in the top 10. Oh, man. Oh, Trumpeting Carnosaur. Very nice. We do find the open mana, too, but with Carnosaur in hand, torch the tower open with the popping the treasure, but also we're just one short then from... We're just one short from the Carnosaur next turn. I think we can survive. We get the tap land down, that's 4. 5 on the mountain next turn with the treasure. And if there is an emergency, we can still pop the treasure to the torch the tower. If there ends up being an emergency, which there really could be against Gruul Delirium. It knows how to push damage through. No attacks. Yeah, we're also 1 mana short from the Ghost Vacuum play, which could be pretty good. But I think it's still going to be Carnosaur. Okay, they do get a land to the grave. I do think they're going to hit Delirium this turn, guys. And it might be pretty hard depending on what they send to the grave to... Okay. Let's see what they get into the graveyard here. Because if they give this the trample, then we're in danger for sure. Or the untap too. Instant sorcery land. We want to wait for the last moment on the vacuum. Yeah, torch the tower on the wildfire would be really good, but then we won't have 6 mana for the Carnosaur. So I think we risk it down to 5. Still something here from the opponent. We might die this turn maybe? Overprotect. Overprotect is 5. 9 damage getting through with the trample, guys. Yep. No choice but to actually pop the treasure, and we still take 4 from the fear of missing out, unfortunately, because that's where we ended up blocking. But no matter where we ended up blocking here, they were going to get an amount through because they would have put the overprotect wherever we ended up blocking. So, yeah. Right. In danger, we no longer have the 6 mana for any of our things. Still going to clean up the opponent's grave. We're going to go ahead and take the forest. Get their delirium down a little further. We find more mana off the top, guys. Wow, I think Carnosaur is going to, unfortunately, going to have to be removal for one of the fear of missing out. And keep a chump for the other one. Yeah, at 5. Opponent still has 1 card remaining. Patrick Beastie keeping their graveyard nice and stocked up. Hopefully I still did well by getting rid of that other Ghost Vacuum earlier, but honestly, both Ghost Vacuums on the board would have been terrific. Okay, Inti. Right. We could pop the Inti, but I'm pretty sure we need to pop a Fear of Missing Out, but when we do pop the Fear of Missing Out, they get the Delirium. So we want to wait for the very last moment after the swings here. Which means they could still get Delirium off the Inti? No, not this turn. I mean, they could get Delirium, but not the ability. They send an instant. Okay. Right, so the target is the one that we hit with the Carnosaur. So waiting for the last moment for a very good reason here. Now we go Ghost Vacuum on the fear of missing out, probably. So that fizzles. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. Let's see what they see off the Inti here. Hand that feeds Delirium. Okay, it's a creature. Okay, neat. We should still chump while we have the chump, right? Yes, we definitely should. Yeah, they're going to play another creature here. We want to get rid of their Delirium by taking the Fear of Missing Out. Okay, they go ahead, play the hand that feeds. Now, taking the Trumpeting Carnosaur could be really good too, depending on what we plan on seeing, but I'm pretty sure we gotta ruin their Delirium and hope that they just don't find the Delirium next turn. Right? And we'll still have, you have to tap for the bottom ability, unfortunately. The Plasma Bolt is decent. Yeah, they definitely have lethal on the board if we don't do this, so we kind of have to do this. And remember, it's activate only as a sorcery, so let's see what we get done here. A lot of chump blockers. Okay, yep, we can get rid of the mountain. Hey, the void is open for the plasma bolt. Okay, we can get rid of, I guess, both of these, honestly. I mean, I do like the plasma bolt. But we're looking for our top end, guys. Weird game. Tannuk. Okay. Yeah, no attacks. We're in danger, dude. The opponent really, really put us on the run. Hopefully I played this out well for you guys. Yeah, for this game, kind of feels like we're fighting against our own deck list, you know what I mean? And a lot of like really weird scenarios where we had to do one thing over another, where the other thing would have been better, but survival needs to happen too. Oh, and they do find the artifact creature, which puts them to the delirium, guys, and they find it off the beastie, so we're in significant danger. This also has menace over here. Or did they find that? Did they find that on the discard on the Inti? I'm not 100% certain. Okay, with the extra 3 going through there, a double block here is necessary, right? So we start with that. Double block. Now there is 3 getting through there. So we start with the chump on the beastie, which attacks again next time. Take the 4. Chump the beastie on the backswing, right? I think that's how we want to do it. Oh, overprotect. Well, okay, good game, opponent. Good game. Wow. Okay, really rough one, actually. Yeah, we didn't get to showcase too much of the deck list. I do think, after all of that, I do think that the second Ghost Vacuum would have really helped, but then also they would have just had Screaming Nemesis swinging in every turn. I think we also would have been in danger either way, right? Yeah. Let's keep the ball rolling. That was a weird one. It's very weird. I think we can draw much, much better. Yeah, eventually we saw the Seize the Spoils for the treasure that we could have used to pop the Screaming Nemesis, and then we actually could have kept both Ghost Vacuums, but you can't just pretend you're going to draw what you need for that'll actually generate the treasure, right? It's actually better to pretend that you're not going to draw what you need and then base it off of that. More of our cards like Abrade to actually deal with those fear of missing outs would have been good, or our Void Burn too. Like Torch the Tower was a rough one versus the fear of missing out because of course it dodges the 2 damage pretty effectively. And Slagstorm would have been incredible that game. Wow. Yeah. Only 2 Slagstorms in here, though. And we did a lot of trading out, I suppose. Okay, Torch the Tower's open. This hand should be pretty good against landfall. Bristly Bill. Goodbye, Bristly Bill. Goodbye, buddy. Keep Abrade open or Scoundrel. Scoundrel ramp means Torch the Tower number 2 is open. If we don't have to use Torch the Tower, then we ramped successfully. Poke the damage through because I don't plan on blocking something that doesn't have haste. Alright. Yeah, that's not worth popping. Springbloom Druid comes down. So they opt for a ramp here over more landfall cards. I promise we have top end, guys. I promise. We could try to find it with the Seize the Spoils. Still have 2 mana open after the fact. Emergency Abrade or Torch. Also, it's just ramp at that point, too. See what they end up doing to the Scoundrel. They let the 1 through. The mana here is great if we find something off the top and we don't have to pop the treasures. I think we just have to keep removal open, guys. With the opponent opting for a ramp, we might have to double down on removal after a Snakeskin Veil or something. Ordeal of Nylea. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit patient here because they could tap out in like a second ordeal or something. It's going to be Promising Vein. We go for the swing. I guess we try. It could be a worthwhile pop. If it's not a pop, the Snakeskin Veil could be worthwhile. Wow. Wow. It was nothing. Now what? Okay. Huh? Okay, you know what? I'm not going to hold the removal open this time. Yeah, I guess we do it before we swing, actually. Get rid of the mountain this time around. Because we could draw more land, easy peasy, plus we're ramping. We do find more land. Okay. These have been weird games, man. Okay. Right. I mean, at least the opponent's missing a little bit here, too. We could successfully play the Abrade and pop a treasure. Still have 6 mana for most of our top end when it comes time. I think we can draw much better than this. These have been weird. For sure. Hopefully we can showcase the deck list in the second half of the video. Hopefully we can showcase it in this game too. Actually top deck some of that. Some of those goodies. Also, I don't think this is a 24 mana deck list, guys. I'm sticking to the 25. More testing required for sure. I'd be tempted by 26 mana, honestly. Okay, Hydra. So they probably didn't want to use... Okay, 3rd mana comes down. I mean... Okay. And they have Promising Vein too. Last Moment Abrade is probably best thing to do here. And they didn't have... Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we should pop the Hydra now. But, no Snakeskin Veil is just really good news for us, guys, on so many levels. Yeah, Hydra is essential to get rid of because Slagstorm won't hit the Hydra eventually. A lot of ramp... Oh, no, guys. Oh, no, more mana. Holy cow, dude. All right, I'm going for that swing. Because I don't plan on blocking. We're in danger. We are definitely in danger here. The top 14 cards we have seen 7 mana. No, 8 mana in the top 14 cards, guys. Wow. They dumped the rest of their hand on the board and we are in danger, bro. Holy cow. Oh, thank goodness we see a Plasma Bolt. Oh my goodness, dude. All right, so I wonder if they block with this Harmonizer or just let the 1 through. They probably let the 1 through. Land you control enters, double the power of target creature you control until end of turn. Yep. Right. We start with the swing, because they could block with the Harmonizer. Maybe we can save the Plasma Bolt. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. Top end. Come on, top end. Oh, Mossborn Hydra is a good draw for the opponent, but let's not forget they significantly thinned their deck list. Oh, thank goodness, man. Now we're drawing. Now we're going. Yeah, the Promising Vein can't save it from 4 damage. Plasma Bolt is open for the Void, but we just have to hold it. Yeah, the opponent's hitting pretty good, but now we swing with the Overlord and the Chocobo dies anyways. More removal. Nice. They're really stuck between a rock and a hard place because every time they top deck, the Overlord should be able to pop it well enough because it's 4 damage. Yeah, even if they activate the Vein. Another Saz's Chocobo. Okay. I think I'm going to go for Victory next turn here. So we're going to go for the Abrade out of hand. And then pop Treasure for the Plasma. So that's 3. And then the swing on the Overlord is another 4. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Oh, hey, I didn't need to pop the treasure. I actually did overkill. That's fine. Yeah, just the 2 damage on the bolt would have worked fine there. I don't entirely know what my brain was calculating, but even so, I guess it's nice to get as much damage as possible. Yeah, weird. Yeah. Let's keep going. I have nothing else to say. Just kind of like weird draws overall. Like it's the deck list right now is not curving properly by any means, but we'll see. I mean, it could be the deck list's fault. It could just also be Magic the Gathering sometimes. There's a nice clean victory though versus Landfall. We go first, early removal. We'll keep it. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of clean removal chances against that, and we got lucky that they didn't find their snakeskin veils for sure. All right, guys. Hey, while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. Also, guys, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. If you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. Yeah, a lot of cool, neat ways to put Big Red together. Summon Fenrir. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll pop it. Actually, I could have just popped it with a Plasma Bolt next turn, but I plan on the Courage, so we wouldn't have had the 1 mana open. Just looking for something to do, I guess, right? Lindblum. Okay. Come on down, Courage. A big thing that we need to find today is actually the Tannuk. Woo, buddies. Summon Titan's gonna be really hard to get around. Plasma Bolt. We could drop 3 cards on the Titan, but I'm pretty sure. So a swing into the Titan too wouldn't be terrible. Keep the Lindblum as utility. Actually, we just we do this now so we can play the land. For sure. And we have a full swing if we want to get 2 through, but probably not the best. Get 1 extra there. Yeah, into the Titan? Nah, probably not. Sorry guys, I just realized I was sitting really close to the mic. I was eating the microphone. Hopefully it was fine. If we had a chance of actually trading for a Plasma Bolt or something, I would take the swing. I don't think it's worth it. Actually, they probably just block the Wizard. They don't even block the Courage. They grab the Surveil land back and a Swamp back from the grave. Holy cow, dude. Did they just send it? They sent that. They already have a Zombify in hand. I think we're dead. I think we're out. Okay, Virtue. Go back up to 22. Yeah, we're kind of just like, we're doing the things too slowly right now. Take the 7. They only got 3 open, surprisingly. It was not the Knights of Round. Ghost Vacuum. Hey, right on time? Maybe. We'll see, won't we? Summon Titan pops itself here at the end. I wouldn't be mad to slam some Plasma Bolt damage through for the turn. Even if we take Knights of Round, yeah, we have to wait for the actual target on the Zombify for sure. Alright, I'll get 1 Plasma Bolt damage through, because that could matter while we have the open mana. It could. It's 3 damage thanks to the Wizard. And then we still have the Abrade open as well. And I'll keep the other Plasma Bolts as ways to deal with more Fenrirs or something, right? No attacks. Feels like our top end is definitely hiding from us in these matches. Too bad Plasma Bolt doesn't have instant. Virtue of Persistence. Yep, that's what they plan on doing then. Okay. Abrade does not hit enchantments, but thank goodness we saw our Ghost Vacuum. They keep 2 mana open. All right. Pick up the Knights of Round first, for sure. Here at the end of the opponent's turn. Mana off the top. Could be a Knights of Round for us. Ooh, Overlord. Hi, buddy. Hi. Of course, I'd love to have the mana to play it out and get the swing too, but this is really good. I wonder if that's a Get Lost that they kept open then, right? Get Lost still pops enchantments. Yeah, we play it and start the countdown. We could Plasma Bolt for the turn, another 3. Again, while we have the mana open, it could matter. All right, I'll go for it. Yeah, just getting the extra burn through could be the way that we get there. Even a Slagstorm would help us get there a little bit. Yeah, how do you guys feel about using these Plasma Bolts just to hit the opponent's face? They target the Fenrir because... Well, we could let them have this if they want to bring back the Titan. Yeah. Yeah, they can have the Fenrir. Totally fine. A little bit of ramp. Not too worried about it. Yeah, what we want is we want to stop the Titan from coming back when it comes time. That's a good target opponent for sure. They have a Zombify from hand. Guys, I'm seriously considering the 3rd Ghost Vacuum, but it really depends. I mean, it's just so many deck lists care about their grave, but then also this deck list is totally fine. Yeah, I hope they don't have something here. Ghost Vacuum MVP. They got a Titan from hand. Nice, dude. Holy cow. Stock up that grave again. Charming Scoundrel ramp is good. They're at 9. Fenrir pops itself at the end. They draw a card. Charming Scoundrel would have been really good last turn, too. 1 second, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. You could stop the card draw by dropping the Abrade. I think it's better to keep the Abrade open. 3 Zombifies in the grave. Whatever they target on the Virtue this time round, we'll probably have to pick up with the Ghost Vacuum. I think we go ramp on the Scoundrel. That way we have the 6th mana. Yeah, by them having the 2nd Titan, we just don't have a good swing. We don't even have a good chump next turn either. Their Titan could win the game next turn, depending on what they end up doing here. A lot of mana comes back. Yeah, the trample damage is going to be rough. I'm sorry, opponent, taking my good old time. This time I am going to hold Plasma Bolt. A little bit of card draw shouldn't be too bad for us. Plasma Bolt could be the way that we end this game when it comes time. Titan and Knights of Round will have haste. Oh, actually, Ghost Vacuum next turn is how we win, right? So we should get rid of as much as possible from the opponent here. Get them down to 8. But Titan has reach too. They'll all come in with the courage boost though. Yeah. Abrade open as an emergency. Wow. What a game. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a close one, guys. Target Knights of Round. We grabbed the Knights of Round. If we would have seen mana, I guess we could have won that turn with the courage and everything. So, yeah. Knights of Round from hand. They don't have flying, guys. The Llanowar Elves. And 2 mana open still. They do swing with the Titan. I guess we don't block. We can take the 8 down to 5 and survive, right? We don't really have a swing with the Scoundrel next turn, but that doesn't mean that there's not a better chump in the Scoundrel's future. We're just anticipating. We're going to pretend that they have an answer to our Ghost Vacuum Courage. I don't think they'll have an answer, but they could. Clive, hey, top end. Okay, let's go Ghost Vacuum. Let's do this. We used the treasure. We planned for this. Scoundrel treasure was the way to go, right? Let's see what we can get done. Knights of Round. Yeah, we have 9 in the air. And wide enough on the ground, I suppose. Yeah, they could stop this in the air easily, so I guess we full swing. Just in case. They do have something. 1 card remaining. It's going to be a bitter triumph. They actually have to pay the 3, though. Oh, they didn't have 1 card to discard. They could have had 1 card to discard with the Llanowar Elves. Then they would have had 1 less chump blocker on the ground, so the Knights still would have gotten through on the ground there too, right? Good game, opponent. Am I crazy, or have these games been really weird? I have no idea. It's kind of like it's been a little back and forth. The top end is hiding from us. Tannuk, nowhere to be found. I guess the 4th Tannuk could have been worthwhile just for the video at least. I just don't think the 4th Tannuk's going to be worthwhile in the actual deck list is the thing. I also don't think I have the 4th Tannuk yet. We're going to go 1 more. Hopefully we can see just more synergies. Win or lose, I'm relatively satisfied. I'm like, with the deck list, I'm satisfied. With the matches, I'm not, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's been weird. Yeah, we can keep this. We see the Tannuk. That's pretty much all that matters to me. Opponent goes first. We have none of our early removal, but 10 early key removal pieces, as well as a couple connoisseurs, right? Trumpeting Carnosaurs. Yeah, we keep it. Planes. Oh, no. With 5 mana in hand already, we keep Lindblum as an adventure. Yeah, against planes, it's like guaranteed spot removal when it comes time for Tannuk, so that's a shame, but we're still going to try to ramp into it. Maybe the spot removal in their hand right now is just a Star Cage or something, and the Star Cage doesn't pick up the Tannuk. We could wait on Tannuk too, and try to get removal out of the opponent's hand with the Overlord. Wow, it's more mana. Yeah, we might as well wait, right? We might as well go Industrial Regency. Oh, I could have got it down tapped this turn then. Mistakes were made, guys. No, never mind. I want to save the treasure token. Yeah. You could also just go Overlord for 4. That also seems like a mistake. We got to play a little bit differently when we know what we're up against. And that is something that has removal. Counterspell would be good for us if they tap out. Maybe Tannuk survives and they have to pop it on their turn type of thing. Could be decent. But now also with Tannuk not wasting the treasure token, we'll have ramp into the Overlord. If it works. They do have that get lost. That would have just been the Tannuk, right? For sure. Enduring Courage, really good, man. Really good top deck. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we'll save the Lindblum. We don't need it to come out tapped right now. Yep. Courage has got to be... I mean, that's the one that they want to drop a counterspell if that's what we're up against. Okay, start with the swing. Courage itself does not have haste. It's a really good counter for the opponent if they have it. It is going to be a no more lies. All right, so we've narrowed it down a little bit. It's not a synthesizer build. It is Azor's Control. Now, the question is, what kind? Yeah, we'll try to take the ramp into the Overlord. 5 mana open. Board wipes would be pretty brutal here too. Fountainport open for fishy. Overlord for 6. Tannuk. Top map for turn. Start with map. Probably Tannuk, right? Based on our hand right now, Trumpeting Carnosaur stays on top. Yes. Okay, go for the swing. Yeah, still saving the treasure for something. For a rainy day, I guess. Get the 2 through. Probably more removal for the Tannuk then. Or another counterspell too. Works. If it's not going to be any of that, then it's probably a board wipe on their turn. We do have Plasma Bolt if we want to squeeze 3 through right now, but it'll be pretty easy to squeeze 3 through later too. Consult the stars, or consult the star charts. That's really bad news, guys. Top 5 cards grab 2. There definitely has to be an answer for this board state. Leading the Courage into the counterspell could have been really bad. As a matter of fact, leading Tannuk into the counterspell potentially would have been a little better. Because if it was going to be generic spot removal for Courage, at least we'd still have that on the board state to some extent until they find another Get Lost. 6th mana from the opponent. I'd be surprised if they missed on that star charts. We see that Carnosaur, and they knew the Carnosaur was coming. Guys, we're going to warp out as much as possible here. I'd say that the best thing to warp is probably going to be the Overlord. We're going to try both. The question is, what order do we want them to be warped out in? And what are we expecting from the opponent? Because if we miss the haste on the Tannuk, like removal on top, I guess we start with Overlord warp, right? That's what we got here from the opponent. Overlord lands. Tannuk is probably a goner, right? Oh, warp. Make sure you choose the right option. 6 mana open here. No more lies on the Trumpeting Carnosaur. They only got 4 mana open. It's got to be removal. It has to be. The Consult the Star Charts. Cathar Commando. Oh. And then they have 2 mana to pop the enchantment. Really good opponent. That's a very good turn. I'm going to take the time while we have it to Plasma Bolt their face. Because we could find another Plasma Bolt off the top, for example. Yeah. Yep, totally fine. I guess that turn... No, we ended up using all mana. We're in danger, guys. We need more burn off the top. They go for stock up a land and a Day of Judgment. Okay, I was going to say would pull them right back into this. Good game, opponent. Wow. That was much better. That was a much better game. The double warp on the Tannuk was crazy business. And then, yeah, we had to decide which one was going to be first. And I think I chose the right one first, even though they had that Cathar. I think it was well worthwhile going the Overlord of the Boilerbilges first. The counter on the Carnosaur was good for the opponent because they don't know what the Discover 5 is actually going to hit in here. Worst thing to hit would have been another Tannuk. One of the best things to hit would have been like Enduring Courage or something, because that would have at least come back after a Day of Judgment, giving us a lot more to top deck to try to squeeze that 3 through. Even a Slagstorm could have squeezed that last 3 through, so they needed some form of life gain, or, yeah, more importantly, a board wipe. End of video pack. Let's do it. What do we got? There's a lot of things I still want to get like my 4th of for this set. Memorial Vault. That might actually be my 4th one of those. I have not visited that card yet, but we might at some point. Big Red. Was it my 4th? No, it was my 3rd. It's 4 mana, tap it, sack an artifact. Exile the top X cards of your library, where X is 1+ the mana value of the sacrificed artifact. You may play those cards this turn. So it's like a very specific card, and it's at 4 mana too. If that was like a 3 mana ability, it might be a little bit easier to play around or build around. All right. Here's the deck list again, guys. Big Red. It kind of did the thing today. It was nice getting some victories, that's for sure. Um, Now the whole video is bringing up how weird they were too. It's like, you know, this weird little mid-range curve really wasn't doing the greatest, but I like everything in here. And you guys saw that even just going Plasma Bolt to face a few turns in a row, the opponent starts sweating because we're slamming damage through. Overlord, of course, can hit face too, so it's like, it's Big Red, and then we got all this burn packed in. I love that Carnosaur on the top end can discover into like Courage or Tannuk. Now, if Tannuk wasn't on the board, it's much better to discover into the Tannuk because other creatures you control have haste is much different than whenever another creature enters, it gets +2/+0 in haste, right? So the Tannuk can run right into a Carnosaur, or Carnosaur can run into the Tannuk, and then Tannuk can give the Carnosaur haste. Whereas with the Courage will just chill. Still a really good card to pick up off the Carnosaur though, but pretty much anything here is pretty good. Like free Seize the Spoils is great off the Carnosaur, right? Third Ghost Vacuum, depending on what you're seeing, I think I recommend it. I think I recommend the third Ghost Vacuum for this build if you're seeing a lot of Reanimator. Or Gruel Delirium, right? Yeah. Anything that cares about their grave, you're not going to be mad by a third Ghost Vacuum. Probably drop one of the Torch the Tower, or one of the Plasma Bolts, or 2 Plasma Bolts, go up that Ghost Vacuum, go up a another card of choice. I still like the Plasma Bolt, but I could see it as a 2 of in here for some reason. You know what? Drop a couple Plasma Bolts, go up a couple Ghost Vacuums. All 4 Ghost Vacuums, why not? It was an absolute MVP today. And then at worst case scenario, you can sack it to the Torch the Tower, right? No, I see. Now, personally, the deck list did well enough today for me not to change anything. It just, the kind of like weird draws kind of felt like we were trying. It was trying its best to be unlucky, but it still did the thing well enough. I don't mind at all these tapped land over here. How do you guys feel about them? You don't like them? Go up mountains. Cool, that's fine, right? Go up a couple mountains, go up a third Fountainport. Fountainport's going to be very good in here. Careful though, because the lands that tap for colorless will hold down certain turns where you want to keep open multiple Torch the Towers or something along those lines. Or if you have 2 Fountainports and a mountain, all of a sudden you can't turn 3 Slagstorm, for example, too. So depending on what you're seeing too, I could see the third Slagstorm. So remember when I said go down a couple Plasma Bolts as a potential card to cut? The third, like dropping a Plasma Bolt to 3, going up the third Slagstorm could work really well too, because, you know, Slagstorm's also a way to deal 3 to the opponent's face, similar to the Bolt, but also just being more ways to wipe the opponent's board. So it really, really depends on what your meta looks like, guys, because it kind of seems like there's a huge variety. It's kind of hard to build around, but overall, like what I'm seeing the most of is probably Yuna Reanimator, and whatever variety of Yuna Reanimator it feels like being on that day, right? Naya, Abzan, whatever. And Synthesizer. Azora Synthesizer has been absolutely brutal, so make sure you keep a couple of braids. I think everyone is seeing the Synthesizer to a good extent, so I think a couple of braids is going to be excellent. Outside of the Synthesizer builds, there still are a decent amount of artifacts to hit, and when you're not hitting an artifact, you're still dealing 3 damage to a creature at instant speed, which is still really good anyways. So yeah, keep your eye on a braid when you're playing red right now in Standard. Braid will be excellent. Woo, buddy, lots to say. How about going over this top end real quick, because I didn't early on. Clive coming in, discard your hand, draw cards equal to your devotion to red. Of course, can be a chunk of cards, a huge chunk. If you have a couple Enduring Courage on the board that the opponent's popped or something, that's still double red devotion per courage, for example. Clive counts as 2 devotion in and of itself, too, when it comes down. Now, the bottom ability, for 6 mana, you can tap it, exile it, comes back as Ifrit. That's activate only as a sorcery, of course. It's a legendary enchantment creature saga demon. It's a 9/9. And chapter 1, it fights up to 1 target creature. So pretty good removal as far as red goes, right? Like hitting something for 9 damage is pretty good. Then Brimstone for the next 2 chapters, you just add for red on chapter 3. Exiles comes back as Clive. You get that ETB again and everything. I would have loved to see Clive today. This is an excellent big red card. I do think it'll work well in here. This is also one where if it's on your top end and you end up discarding it to a Seize the Spoils, eventually pick it up with Ghost Vacuum, pop the Ghost Vacuum. You see, that's why like the third Ghost Vacuum would work so well in this deck list in particular, because even when you're not hitting your opponent's things, it's going to be plenty to hit of your own things. Even Carnosaur sends itself to the grave on its own without the help of a Scoundrel or something. So, and Clive obviously can send your top end to the grave too, if it comes down to that. By the time you play Clive, if you warped it out with Tannuk or something, you probably want to keep the rest of your top end. It's funny that Carnosaur rearranges, but also Overlord kind of rearranges too with the impending on the 4. So kind of changes the curve a little bit, but still a very top heavy curve for a good reason, right? This Etali Primal Storms, one that we don't get to see very often. 6 mana, 6/6, and when it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. So it's kind of similar to the Etali that we lost to rotation, right? The Etali that we lost to rotation is a 7 mana one, and it gets it on the ETB, and it also has that chance of actually transforming to the backside. This one works well in this deck list in particular because of the haste off of Tannuk and the haste off of Courage, hopefully. That's the hope, at least. Now, it doesn't have Trample and stuff like that. I still like it as a one of here, and I think that we kind of don't see this enough. You know, it's a dinosaur, too. It's a 6 mana dinosaur, and 6 mana is not that hard to get to right now in Standard. So I like this in a deck list that actually gives haste. All right, guys. Enough rambling, huh? Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. I enjoyed it. I think that if we played another 5 games, they'd probably look a little cleaner. I'm still very pleased that we were able to pull off some victories, though. And yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't. All right, guys. Enough rambling. If you made it this far in, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. I will see you in the next video.